For me, probably the best memories growing up, I was lucky enough to be able to start working in the rectory when I was in 6th grade, and I did that all through college.
Well, the people are beautiful here. I mean, they're so friendly. All of them are so friendly.
My first memory here at St. Albert the Great is when the school opened. My mother put 6 of us in here. There was 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 8th grade, and the school wasn't done yet, so we had to walk from Wines Road to the school on 2x12s.
It was on June 10, 1959, 60 years ago, that Archbishop Hoban, the Bishop of Cleveland, designated that the city boundaries of North Royalton, Ohio, should constitute its own territory, called a parish. The diocese purchased 7.5 acres of farmland on Wallings Road near the intersection of Ridge Road and appointed Father Anthony Winters as the first pastor of St. Albert the Great Parish. We're celebrating the 60th anniversary of this great community of faithful Catholics at the heart of North Royalton, Ohio, with its heartfelt mission of service to our neighbors. There were fewer than 500 households in the territory at the time of the founding of the parish, and now St. Albert has grown to be one of the largest parishes in the Diocese of Cleveland, with over 4,000 households, 11,500 parishioners. We have a lot to remember and celebrate in this 60th anniversary year. We need to not only honor the past, but consider how the gift of it all leads us into the future.
The point of remembering is to fuel the movement forward. Because we can't, if we stop or stand still, we're off mission, because we are a pilgrim people and we are called to keep moving forward. And so I am seeing our community right now in a time of reflecting on how did we get to where we are today, and how is it that we, this current generation, this new generation of St. Albert the Great, can dig deep and reflect upon the gifts of grace and our personal gifts and our community gifts and resources. How can we dig down and make this journey forward possible, and even better than possible, great.
That first generation of Catholics in North Royalton in 1959 began their worship in North Royalton High School at the intersection of Ridge and Route 82. Father Winters and the men of the parish transformed a garage into a daily Mass chapel and confessional. It wasn't until 1964 that Father Winters orchestrated the building of the basement, or lower-level church. It is now the Parish Family Hall. The parishioners would worship in that lower-level space for 17 years, until the 1981 construction of the upper church. At the heart of St. Albert the Great Parish, and from the beginning, what makes St. Albert the Great is the special people of our parish family.
Some of the most important people in my memory of St. Albert the Great is, of course, Father Winters, being a absolute stoic but inspiring Catholic priest.
When we first came to St. Albert the Great, they started that renewal, and Father Weil, before I gave my witness, took us to the room where we prayed that we would give a good witness. And I felt a funny reaction in myself while I was praying, and we were looking up at the God, and it kind of made me feel like something was happening.
I would have to say memories of Father Winters, because he was very strict, and we were all pretty much afraid of Father Winters sometimes.
Yeah,
I even got my hair cut by him.
Father Weil, okay, he grew the parish, he really did, and we built the church.
Volunteered in the library, I can't believe this, for 32 years. And I'm still here to talk about it.
My first clearest recollection is when I was hired by Father Weil to work in the school. And that was very, very special. I felt wanted and needed. and also the recollection of everybody being warm and welcoming at this parish, and to this day still is.
Father Joe, Mr. Ritardi, and Father Estek.
The Sisters of the Holy Humility of Mary were invited to staff St. Albert's Elementary School, and the first graduating class of 1962 consisted of 18 children. That school building has experienced 4 additions over the past 60 years, and now houses 925 children from preschool to 8th grade, and 300 1st to 8th grade Parish School of Religion students. The teaching of the faith to our Catholic families in North Royalton has been and continues to be a centerpiece of our mission to grow one community that is holy, kind, and giving.
Of course, the school was beautiful. I had all the kids in school. We loved to go through the school and see the pictures on the wall. I don't know if they're still there from way back when.
When we came from St. Francis de Sales, all the nuns there had black dresses and a headdress and all that, and I come into school and I'm in the hallway and I'm looking around and I just see these women teachers. I thought they're in just blue and white uniforms and their short dresses and just a little bit of head covering on their head. So I walked to this lady and I said, "Could you please tell me where the principal is?" And she says, "That's me." And I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry." I didn't know whether to apologize or what.
The school is number one because I have a lot of friends, and still to this day at 60-some years old, I still have friends that I went to grade school with, and you know, that friendship never goes away.
After nearly 20 years before Father Winters officially retired, Father John Weil was appointed parish administrator in 1976 and succeeded Father Winters as the second pastor of St. Albert the Great. In 1977, Father Weil and the second generation of St. Albert parishioners inherited Father Winters' final project, the construction of a new gymnasium for our parish school and his dream of a proper upstairs church. Once the gymnasium was completed in 1978, it provided an alternative worship space, while construction of the long-awaited 1,000-seat upstairs church commenced and the transformation of the basement church into a large social hall. Sometime in the transition from Father Winters to Father Weil's pastorate, the parish acquired an additional 500 feet of property. The ball fields were built to accommodate the large number of children participating in CYO activities. All of that was accomplished by 1981, and the completion of the long-awaited upper church ushered in a full decade of no new construction, allowing the parish community to grow into its new expanded home with church, parish hall, expanded school, gymnasium, and playing fields. Over these 60 years of parish life and growth, the family of believers here has grown in deep love, friendship, and affection.
My favorite thing about living life, the Catholic life at St. Albert's, would have to be the extracurricular activities, the services we have. It's more than Mass on Sunday, you know, whether it's outreach on service day or mission work or feed the poor, or the social part of it. It's the people you meet. It's just you grow in your faith.
Church was in the basement, and Father Weil just came. And I had just had my first miracle, Chad. It took us 9 years, but we had a miracle. And so we were in the back of church, and he said he was going to make home visits to all the parish, to all the parishioners. Okay, it was a Saturday, my day to clean. And I had my hair tied up, and I had my shorts on, I had the cushions off the couch. Chad was in a playpen, and he was screaming his head off. And we lived right back at St. Thomas Woods. And I had there was our door, and then there was a side light, with a big window. And the doorbell rang, and I looked, and I went, oh my God, it was him.
Communion, it was, you know, my first year here, and Father Weil definitely was a big part of my life.
I used to play racquetball against Father Weil, and Father Weil was a very good racquetball player. So he used to run me all around the court while he stood in the back, put him 3 inches off the wall.
Father Sutters was my most favorite priest, which was many years ago. I'd have to say if I had a favorite. Big influence here is Marianne Lucarelli, because I've sent all 4 of my kids through this school, and she was a teacher to every one of them, and still to this day, 30-some years later, we still see Marianne around here.
Most important people I've met here going back a number of years, Larry Keating, one of my best friends, and Tom Lawler. We sat at the same table at the renewal and got to know them well.
Father Steve Spisak was the one that baptized my husband. We had a good rapport with him.
The most important person to me was first Father Weil, and secondly, I worked through 4 principals, but Mr. John Krupinski was very much for the children. Very committed man.
I had some pretty good nuns, but that was a long time ago. So, but my grade school wrestling coach, his name is Mike Ambrose, and he's still a parishioner, and he was the perfect coach. He was a true gentleman, an instructor, and for someone outside the school and family, he was a very good influence on my life, and I still see him today, and it's just he's a great guy.
Oh, I keep going back to Father Weil, but it makes me tear up.
Beginning in the early 1990s, significant additions were made to our parish buildings. What was called a 3rd grade wing and gymnasium snack bar area was added to the backside of the school. In 1995, a 500-seat addition was made to the church through the back or south wall, and a 2-story junior high wing was added to the school building. In 1999, that included a library, computer laboratory, and much-needed cafeteria. As a final and crowning jewel of Father Weil's leadership, a 24/7 Eucharistic Adoration Chapel was added to the north side of the original church building along Wallings Road in 2005. Father Weil's retirement in 2009 coincided with the 50th anniversary of the founding of the parish and the 50th anniversary of Father Weil's ordination to the priesthood. These 3 events were of great significance in the history of St. Albert the Great Parish. Thousands of parishioners lined the main driveway of the parish, waiting to participate in Father Weil's Golden Jubilee and retirement. After 33 years of his pastorate and 50 years of parish life, this was a great moment and a historic transition as Father Edward Estock, only the 3rd pastor of St. Albert the Great, began his ministry here in what has proven to be a new era in St. Albert history and a new generation of parish life. Since that 50th anniversary in 2009, the basic institutions, demographics, and context of St. Albert the Great Parish have literally gone unchanged. The most significant event was, after 20 years, a renovation and redecoration of the inside of the church in 2014. With the help of the Rooted in Faith Diocesan campaign, the interior of the church received a total renovation, including new floor covering, new lighting, new paint, refinished pews, new sound system, all of it updating the church for the next generation. Some innovation and renewal also took place in our parish school. After several years of declining enrollment, it was decided in 2012 that a Catholic preschool should be added to our parish ministry. With the new principal in 2013 and his additional programming to serve Catholic families, St. Albert the Great School swelled from 700 students to 925 in 3 short years. St. Albert the Great School became the largest Catholic elementary school in the Diocese of Cleveland. A reconstruction of the Parish Pastoral Council in 2010, the creation of Social Advisory Council in 2010, and the revitalization of the Parish Finance Council in 2012 all contributed to a renewal of parish life through the infusion of the principle of consultation among the faithful. This new method of pastoral leadership and planning greatly stimulated parishioner involvement and responsibility. With the leadership of the Parish Pastoral Council, the number of ministries climbed from 25 to over 100. The enthusiastic and sincere participation of St. Albert parishioners in the proclamation of the gospel for 60 years at St. Albert the Great has its foundation in their faith of Jesus Christ. The reward of these labors is the peace that only church communion can offer. We feel it in our hearts.
I love the parish picnic. I love the big events where everyone comes together, even the donuts, on Sundays. I love just the sense of community we have here. I think we're really strong with the bonds that we have, and I feel like it's gotten, down to like third generations with these younger ones now, and people don't want to leave. People want to stay, and I think that's our strongest. We're a very close-knit community of people, and I love that. I don't think you find that everywhere, and we have that here.
Being a Eucharistic minister, one of the proudest moments of my life when was Father Weaver called and asked for me to be able to do that, if I would be interested in doing it, and it was like, oh, sure. But very honored that I'm able to do that. And then again, when I was asked to be a Mass coordinator.
That we had 750 people sign up to participate in our first ever Parish Service Day. And of course we had all these wonderful features, and Mary Pat and the committee had put together, we had t-shirts, and we had a prayer that everybody said, and we had pictures, they had to take pictures, and we had a guy set up to make a collage video, and we had a big Mass to celebrate. At 5:30 Mass, we're going to bring all the people together after they did their work, and then we were going to have a dinner downstairs. And when we got together for that 5:30 Mass, and all those people in their blue t-shirts, they were all so excited about what they had done and what they'd experienced, and they couldn't wait to share it with each other. The church upstairs was just buzzing with people. It was just such a glorious and satisfying experience of church and of people's faith. And it was like a new faith experience for them. And for me, quite frankly, I had never witnessed or been part of anything like that before myself.
It's like a family.
Right.
And Father Vial started it with trying to build community with tennis and racquetball parties. And it's grown into Church at Home with Father Estock, which is that is a beautiful thing, Church at Home.
Mine would be the friendships we've made. That a lot of us started here at the same time, and
I once told a friend of mine who was considering coming to St. Albert's, I said, there's so many programs here to get involved and to be involved with others, that if she couldn't find one, she wasn't looking hard enough, because there was just so many opportunities to be able to be a part of a good Christian, Catholic-based group that shares and lives their faith.
What makes me most proud about the parish is the school.
We just keep saying it, it's Father Vial, okay? He grew the parish, he really did, and we built the church. And then comes Father Estock, and he has taken what Father Vial started and he's just grown it into something
Absolutely
fabulous.
Right.
It's wonderful.
My most personal and meaningful experience as a member of this community would have to be my mom passed away in January of this year. It ended up that we ended up having her wake in the church the night before the funeral. And I don't know, maybe 1,000 people, my parishioners, my fellow parishioners, waited in line for like 4 hours to greet me and my sister and our family. And it was just so touching. Every person, practically, that came through the line, I was able to tell my sister about a time in their lives and how I got to know them and made a connection with them. And I kept saying to people, I'm sorry you had to wait in this line. And it was Rita Becca was the one that said it best. She said, are you kidding, Father? She said, you were with us when we needed it in our time of need, and we had to be here for you. It was probably the greatest time where, as a priest over 35 years, when I really felt like a member of the church, not just, a leader.
This unprecedented growth in the ministry, activity, the day school population and programming, and in general parish life has prompted the Parish Pastoral Council to consider the aging and limiting facilities and grounds of the parish, the growing ministries and demands for space and time, and the desire to be an increasingly welcoming and secure locale for life in North Royalton. In 2016, a master plan subcommittee was formed to consider these growing needs of our facilities and grounds, increasing demands upon our space and time, and the desire to increase the sense of welcome and accessibility for all people onto our property. The result of this subcommittee's work over the last 2 years is what we're now calling Building Faith, a new generation. The centerpiece of this Building Faith dream is a new Parish Life Center that will include multiple meeting rooms, a large group performance center, accessible professional offices for the parish staff, and a new and safe traffic pattern to accommodate the over 1,000 people that enter and exit this property on a daily basis, 7 days a week. Rejoice with us in celebrating all the accomplishments of these 60 years and joyfully join us as we respond to the call of the future and guaranteeing a beautiful, effective, and inviting parish community for the next and the new generation. We are called to be one, holy, kind, giving.
The call to greatness is one that we're just on the verge of making it new for this new century and for the next generation of people. So I'm full of hope and enthusiasm about how we're going to make this, build this faith here into something that the modern glance of our culture cannot avoid seeing. And if they see it, I think they will join it